Good evening. Welcome to the Friday Study Circle. And maybe we can start with 1 minute of silence so that we can collect ourselves. And then we'll start with the sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody who would like to go first with anything they have read, they want to share, have questions on? Um, Captain, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I was reading about concentrating the attention. The sentence starts with whatever you may not, whatever you may want to do in life. Yeah.
Is it?
Yes. So, whatever you may want to do in life, I'll just read it out. One thing is absolutely indispensable and at the basis of everything, the capacity of concentrating the attention. If you are able to gather together the rays of attention and consciousness on one point and can maintain this concentration with a persistent will, nothing can resist it, whatever it may be, from the most material physical development to the highest spiritual one. But this discipline must be followed in a constant and, it may be said, interruptible, imperturbable way. Not that you should always be concentrated on the same thing. That is not what I mean. I mean learning to concentrate. And materially, for studies, sports, all physical or mental development, it is absolutely indispensable. And the value of an individual is proportionate to the value of his attention. And from the spiritual point of view, it is still more important. There is no spiritual obstacle which can resist a penetrating power of concentration. For instance, the discovery of the psychic being, union with the inner divine, opening to the higher spheres, all can be obtained by an intense and obstinate power of concentration, but one must learn how to do it. There is nothing in the human or even in the superhuman field to which the power of concentration is not the key. You can be the best athlete, you can be the best student, you can be an artistic, literary, or scientific genius. You can be the greatest saint with that faculty. And everyone has in himself a tiny little beginning of it. It is given to everybody, but people do not cultivate it. So while reading this, I was thinking about the convex lens One convex lens is available where if you focus towards the sun in the daytime and you point that concentrating point, if you put it on some material, so it can burn that material. The fire can be lit. It's so powerful, particularly in the bright sun. It immediately catches fire. So what we are doing through that glass is only the rays of light we are concentrating, and the fire can be generated. So similarly, even I have realized in my life, like when I was doing my board examination, school final, 1966. So at that time, somebody told me that if there are 20 test papers, if you finish, and then you can score 100 out of 100 in the mathematics. So I did that, and I saw that yes, it is possible. With that concentrating on this, solving the 20 papers, the different type of papers of the board papers those days was available. So anything we want to achieve, it's only the concentration, intention to do something. Once we decide that I have to do this, and if we concentrate all our energies, then definitely it can be achieved. So the mother says that yes, even in the spiritual life also, this is the basis of everything. The concentration is the basis of everything. Once we decide something, means now whatever the efforts and ideas and knowledge, so everything we have to focus on the particular point, and then definitely it can be achieved. There is nothing is unachievable. And also mother says that uh, all these faculties are there within us, but we are not developing or growing. So from the beginning, when the child is born, from that time onwards, that everything is given, but it depends upon the atmosphere and the surroundings where the child is growing. And so all these faculties, so many faculties are uncultivated. It has not been taken care of. So that is why we say that he is poor in English, poor in mathematics, or something like that. There is nothing like poor or rich or something. Always, everything is there within us. There's only thing we have to uh, manifest. It requires to be manifest. That's all. So that is the thought process which is coming to my mind while reading this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Bhajanji. I'll just share it again. So, this concentration, like when you were reading it, it seems to be like when you're concentrating, there is a stillness in the body, right? Like otherwise, if there's just too much dispersion and distraction, one cannot concentrate. And it seemed to me, and please correct me, that this concentration, awareness, mindfulness, like they seem to be the same, pointing in the same direction, that being present, and it's strange that we, like, especially when we sit down for, say, focusing on the breath, that how tough it is. Like when you read about concentration, it sounds very simple, right? You just sit and you just concentrate on one thing, like you were talking about the lens, that you just hold it, the sun rays will come and the light will be transferred. But the will, I mean, again, the focus that's needed, and it has to be developed and, like she said, constant. And when we see the life of people who have really stood out, one thing is there, this concentrated focus on nothing can budge them, right? Like this is what feels like the calling for them, like sportsmen and all, like she said, people who have done social change or scientists. Yeah.
And for the mortal beings like us, nothing can budge us from our scattered consciousness. We are so scattered mostly, and I think one needs to develop a kind of a taste for that focus, because it actually brings joy whenever we are able to focus the mind to one point, either with the breath or to a subject, or maybe with a mantra or with anything. When we are, as you were sharing, that completely mindfully fully there with the focus in gathered consciousness, it actually brings us joy. And the mind is full of energy. That's what I've experienced, that the mind actually regains energy when the mind is not scattered. When it is scattered, it feels very drained in energy, and we may have experiences where there are days when we are just thinking too much about random things, this and that, and past and future, and this opinion, that judgment about myself, about others. And when the mind is that much scattered, then we actually feel a drain in energy, like low on energy. But when, if we have, in the same time, if we have done some focused work, it may be cooking, it may be drawing, or any reading, maybe some work on the computer, some physical work, it doesn't matter. If the work has been focused, it reduces the energy drainage, and it also brings a lot of joy. Yeah. But as mother says, that it has to be cultivated, otherwise we just are scattered all over. So that's according to our own natural inclinations, whatever we like to do, we have to bring our focus. Maybe for some it may be cooking, for some it may be just walking around. So then it really, yeah, helps when we are able to cultivate.
This thing also that everyone has in himself, of it, but do not cultivate it. Like you were saying, like just, I mean, it's so easy to see, right? Like when you connect with people, especially on a one-to-one basis, when you're having an intimate conversation, I mean, people who you can physically, how they are and stuff, even if somebody is absolutely unrelatable, when you sit with them, they have a story, they have a depth, they have a pain. They have things that they want more than the regular achievements that we all, talk about in life. And yet it goes, right? Like after the conversation, it feels as if, I don't know, did I have the conversation with the same person? If you invite them for anything, right? They're like, if I'm not doing any other chore, or if I wake up, if I'm up by that time, or then I'll come. So it's it's like, again, how everybody is a mirror. So it really helps in seeing that what am I giving priority to, right? Like, I mean, there's so much potential. There's no doubt about it.
And I think, as mother says, that we are not able to choose our higher possibilities if we are not disgusted with our old selves.
Yeah.
So I think that's what again and again comes to me also, that if I have really not suffered enough, I will not be able to put effort. If I'm okay and comfortable in my usual day to day scattered life, then nobody can push me towards change. Nobody can make me convinced that you should put effort, as you were sharing, that come to the session, or, whatever. Involve yourself in satsang. Why should I involve myself in satsang? Because I feel okay, life is okay. Nothing is really miserable. And that's where the blessing that suffering brings comes to picture, that those of us who have undergone some suffering because of their old selves and old patterns, and now if I have decided no, not anymore, then I am convinced to put effort towards goodness and higher possibilities. Otherwise there is no chance, I feel. There is no chance. So this cultivation requires effort. If I'm cultivating a garden, I have to put khad into it, water into it, proper sunlight. This all requires effort. A seed may be lying there in the mud, but that would not get sprouted unless the proper conditions are there. So that's what our condition is, that the seed lies forever, a lifetime passes by, the seed is lying dead and dormant seemingly, but maybe I don't want to put effort, not enough suffering, so the whole lifetime passes by and no effort, no cultivation. And then another comes, maybe another, maybe another. In eternity we have enough lifetimes, but yeah, if not for cultivation, then hard to get it sprouted.
Yeah.
In fact, so Swami Vivekananda was asked, how do you define education? So he says that education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. So in the potential form, we all have this, but there was no chance, the surrounding conditions are not that, so it has never been manifested. So the manifestation has to take place. So when we are growing up, at the time our parents or whoever is taking care of us, they do that I must stand on my own feet, I must start earning, and I must live a life which is normally seen in front of us. So that was the ideal which was kept in front of us, and we moved on that particular path. It was never said that I have got enormous source of energy within myself. Whatever I want can be done. So that was not given any chance to grow. So it remained, as you said, dormant. It was dormancy only. Even when we are growing old and we are about to die and all this, so that dormancy remains because it has never seen the light of the day. So that actually happens in all of us. The potential is there, right? It is there in the form of potential energy. Like in physics, they say the potential energy to be converted to kinetic energy. So enormous source of energy is left untouched. Thank you.
Regarding this potential, a story, maybe I've shared that story long back. So there was this, it's a true story of a grandfather who was there somewhere in the US where tornadoes and these kind of things come, and his grandchildren were sleeping in one room, and the grandfather was incapacitated, like he was on a this wheelchair. He was not having proper physical ability. So but when he saw the news that it was a warning that was issued, that go into your basements because a tornado is coming or whatever, he had so much of conviction to save his children, the grandchildren, that he actually got up and carried both of them to the basement while he had been on the wheelchair for many, many years. So he too, physical handicap, imagine, had the potential of running, for example, or walking. But he did not know until the right situation arrived and he was pushed. So that's where the push, because if things are okay, no tornado warning, why would I get up from my chair? All is okay. But when the push is there, some जैसे जान पे बनाती है लोग कहते हैं ना, when this life and death situation is there, then we see abilities in us which we usually don't even are aware of. And that's why it's very nice to live life on the edge, not have many life insurances. It's hard actually, but yeah, we can try to live life on the edge where it's always very risky, because when it's risky, our attention is very proper. So if I'm sitting on a chair, I can really fall unattentive. But if I'm walking on a rope, then I have to be attentive, like I'm pushed towards attention. So I feel that this is because of our inertia, basic inertia, since we are all coming from stone and this hard consciousness in consciousness. So that tamas is there in us. And for moving that tamas, some kind of challenge is always required. And that's why challenges, whenever they come in front, they bring the heroic spirit out in us. Whenever, even the most seemingly ordinary people, you may think that, oh, I am so ordinary, unworthy of everything. But when the challenge is in front, then suddenly we realize that, oh my god, I didn't know that I'm capable of doing this. So Chinmay, please. um, so I think it's good that if we keep on giving us challenges from time to time.
One thing you spoke about how if one is not dispersed, how that one keeps renewing himself or herself with the source. Like whenever I look at you, like today also, when you logged in, it felt like, you're ready to just rock and roll and, and so it's just like, I just want to say that it's so evident when one is practicing it, because when one is not, you see that, the body shows that one is very dull. And so it's, yeah, again, like so much grace, but it's beautiful to see it live happening. So just wanted to say that.
Actually, I just came from Nandini's house on 16th floor. They had 11th month of her mother's passing away. And
Okay.
she had called me for a Kabir song. So that also
Okay.
rejuvenates me.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the same topic, there's a story I heard. I don't know the full details. I'll cut it very short. Like when Prahlad was being taken to Vaikunt, when he arrived there, he said, "Ki, I don't want to do it alone. Like I am leaving so many people behind. So it's not giving me anything. Like it doesn't feel right." So the god, I don't know what to refer, yeah, I mean, the god said, okay, if you're so sad, go get your family, go get your city, whoever wants to come, tell everybody that because of you, because of your wish, the doors of Vaikunt are open now for everybody, so come. So he was so happy and he ran back and he told everybody that, the doors are open, come for all of us. And come, I'm waiting for you. And he waited for 2 hours and nobody came. And he was very surprised. Then he started approaching people one to one that, are you not understanding what I'm saying? The doors of Vaikunt are open to anybody who's willing to walk right now. And everybody had a reason, I'm just 25 years old. I have so much to do. Matlab, when I die, then there is no option. Then I'll want to go there. But right now, this life seems enough. So Prahlad was very surprised and he went back. And there they said, "Ki, acha, koi nahi aaya." They said, no, nobody was interested. He said, so they said, okay, do you want to invite, like, say, animals? Like, if the people didn't come, maybe. So he said, yeah, very good idea. Maybe there's an animal who wants to come. So he went to the animal world and there also nobody was very interested. But just when he was about to go back, a pig said that, hey, is it okay if I come? And he was like, yes, at least there's somebody, one person who would benefit. And he was coming. And then just before they were about to enter, he said, hey, I just want to confirm that I'll get the, excreta there. So he was very surprised, Prahlad, and he said, you are entering Vaikunt and you're asking me about excreta, like you won't need anything there. So he said, I didn't realize I would not have excreta in Vaikunt. I don't want it. You keep it. I am used to, I want what I am used to. And so he just went back. So just about what am I holding on to, you know?
Amazing, amazing story. Never heard something like that before. I think this is what also happens when we go for travel. You know, have you noticed that whenever we are traveling, many of us, we are so comfortably packed. You know, कि सारी वो चीजें हैं जिनकी जरूरत पड़ती है, so we never challenge ourselves that ये तो छोड़ के जाएं, कुछ तो नया करें, रास्ते में अगर जा
Yeah.
ही रहे हैं travel के लिए. So although we are traveling, we are moving places, and it may be an exploration, but for me it is never an exploration because I'm always carrying my home with me all the time. So nothing ever changes. My tea bag is also there. The same brown sugar that I use, that is also there. You know, my dried chips are there. So nothing new would be tried because I'm just too comfortable. Yeah. I think in Deepa Ma's teaching, one of the precepts was this, that stay away from luxury. It
Yeah.
is not good for the practice.
I don't call this luxury, and I call this like just common sense, and I'm just picking up things which I'm used to, so that my travel is more and more joyous and comfortable कि किसी चीज की जरूरत ना पड़े. But what I don't realize is I take my home with me, right? Like
And
yeah,
also, as we were
it's
sharing earlier,
comforting.
that we don't realize that when we challenge ourselves, for example,
Yeah,
मेरे पास वो अपना टी बैग नहीं है, हाँ. अब
yeah,
जब मुझे नेक्स्ट टाइम चाय की तलब होने होने वाली है, तब maybe I explore something new,
yeah,
so
totally.
that brings us joy, and I miss that joy forever because I'm always carrying the tea bags. Just a stupid example, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually remember that once we had traveled to South India together the first time. The kids were very small, and I had packed so much for Soham, like all his favorite toys, that so that he'll be busy. And you said, leave everything, let them explore. So that was like, what are you saying? That I don't take the things he gets comforted with. So, and it was, I mean, until you do it, you don't realize how different things can be. Yeah. Okay. So I think moving on. So Sarda ji or Jasmine, any comments on? I know Jasmine joined quite late. Any comments on sharings on what Badal ji had shared or anything of your own?
So what Monica just shared really, was very, 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 very beautiful, because we are, wherever we go, we take everything. Since the car's boot is big, we'll take everything. If possible, we'll take home also. So when you said, I realized, yeah, this is, we feel we are very comfortable. Wherever we go, we want to be comfortable. We don't want to explore anything. So even as you said, I will also take all my coffee decoction, coffee filter.
That's why it resonated with you, Sarda ji.
Yeah.
Next time, leave that coffee aside.
Yeah. We are very particular about morning coffee. And my husband used to tease me, why are you packing so many things? I tell him, no, I want coffee. So yeah, it resonated me very well. Beautiful. Yeah, next time we should just leave, beautiful. Even, while booking tickets, we are very particular that, it should not be too behind, it should not be in the front. We are, we have lot of preferences, and we want to, go in fast forward. We don't want to stand in the queue. Nah? So,
And see that we miss so much of fun, standing in the
yeah.
queue, maybe you meet someone new. Oh,
Yeah.
rhyming.
Yeah, beautiful. Next time we should try this. It really resonated me very well. So I was, I couldn't control my laughter when you said tea. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. So, we have to keep, changing ourselves. We should be wanting to look for new things, not to stick to the old habits, which is very difficult, but we should do it. Yeah.
I think this is also one of those things that we just have picked up, right? We have seen our parents, we have seen others, that be prepared, right?
Yeah.
Be prepared times. And it's amazing to see that how I don't know so much about myself. Like when you had shared, like the same experience, like it was not even a possibility for me to consider that this is also possible. Okay, I don't take the things.
Mhm.
So it's just amazing how I'm going for an adventure and I don't see what I'm doing. It's like how the obvious is escaping me. Again, the concentration that the whole talk that Badaji spoke about. I'm like right now I'm quite surprised again that what are we doing? What are we doing? Or it's not about having preferences is an issue, but the thing is, Sara, energy, right? All my energy and time, the precious time, just goes in this preparation of being comfortable, right? There also, here also. I don't explore new things. That's a different thing. Sad again, different. But so much time I'm spending.
Mostly lifetime is, wasted in this type of things. We
Or
never even know that we are wasting a lot of time.
yeah, and we think that we are being very smart.
Yeah.
That's the reason that I give myself, see that person is not preparing, look how prepared I am. And if the same energy, the same effort, if I
Yeah.
actually put in being fully wherever I am, then new adventures can happen every moment. The same energy, either I put it here in packing my bag, putting my tea bags and coffee concoctions, Shardaji, or sorry, I also like coffee. I'm not after your coffee. Sorry, just pulling your leg.
No, no,
You
no.
know? Or I pull,
Each one has, yeah.
yes, yes. So the same energy can be put, and this actually, I was the first thing I was sharing with Badalji, that we drain so much of energy in this scattered consciousness. And when I'm fully here in the moment, then new things also happen, and I regain energy, and I'm full of life when I allow the new to unfold. So it's as if this Sri Aurobindo, I think in Savitri, he has this line that, not in Savitri, maybe somewhere other poem, where he says that it's like a eternal no from our side and a limping yes. So we don't want the life to unfold. And whenever, as Taru was sharing the example of that pig, waiting for would excreta be there in Vaikunt, So eternal no and a limping yes, हाँ शायद चल भी लूंगा, पता नहीं, but ये नहीं होगा वहाँ पे, So that is how life is waiting for us to be adventurous, and we just keep on missing it because of our comfort zones. So we all of us have our own excreta
Yes.
that we are addicted to.
Either coffee or tea or whatever.
Yeah.
See, the sad part in a way that, we have not even understood that, what we are doing is not the 100%. There is some other side of it. We are very comfortable with what we have. We are planning so well in time. Plan everything in advance, keep everything, pack your bag, everything is okay. That is only one side of this. Beautiful. Yeah, this is, very, very beautiful. Even I have never thought about the other side can be definitely better, and which can also give a new experience. Beautiful. It's a great learning today.
Yeah, I have just switched countries and I have done it quite a few times before. And every time I had long lists of the things that I have to take from India, right? And very logical, very logical. The things that are cheaper, they're readily available, the things that I'm used to. And this time, I don't know, there is a haze, in my mind. And, my father would have ask me that already सब कुछ ले लिया, and I would say that लिया तो कुछ नहीं है, because कुछ ऐसा है ही नहीं जो कि वहां से ना मिल जाए, something like this. Like I just kept saying कि हाँ लिया तो लिया. I mean, there were a few things I got, but I would say maybe 5% of what I would have done in a rational mind. And I was very surprised. Like even when I was doing it, I was surprised. When I got here, I was surprised. When I missed having those, I was surprised. And I thought that, okay, when I'll go to the Indian store, I'll get it, I'll get it, I'll get it. The first time I went, I said, okay, abhi itni zarurat nahi, I'll get it the next time. The third time when I went yesterday, कि अब तो लेकर आऊंगी, I realized that 10 out of 10 things that I thought I should have gotten, which are available here 10 times more expensive, I didn't need. So, but I still couldn't connect the dots till what you said just now, that how we want to be comfortable and how at a very artificial level that gives us a sense of comfort, right? So this discomfort of leaving so much of what I'm used to is so expanding. I want to just, if I can, I want to just sit and cry for some time, kind of the helplessness one feels that, okay, you're walking into a store और सारा यही नहीं समझ आ रहा कि एंट्री का है, एग्जिट का है, पे का करना है, it's when it's, I mean, you feel so stupid, you feel so, kind of helpless. And I see there is so much growth in that not knowing, feeling like a fool again and again. Yes, Jasmine, kindly add 4 stars to this.
No, but I think what you said, I was going to mention the same point. The point is when you get out of your comfort zone and you don't even need to do it in your travel, that's where you grow now. So you grow by doing what you haven't been used to doing. So to me, I don't feel it so much in outwardly action, but I see how uncomfortable I get. Like I do simple things where I, for 4 or 5 days, I'll just stop the tea. I enjoy my tea, but I had to experiment with it. But I didn't like me being addicted to tea. How Monica said कि इतनी ज़्यादा वो अपना चीजों से हम tie in हो जाते हैं ना comfort zone में. I think it's a mind thing in a very mundane way too, but it kind of brings you back. It's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is the growth, right? So you get in touch with your own unease, and that unease take you again, depending on the situation, person.
Hello, Kabir. Long time no see. Yeah. But this one catch here that I'd want to mention, and I think then we'll move forward. Lots of time when I get discomfort, my attention keeps getting focused on, oh, poor me. Why is this happening to me? And I lose all the growth and learning that is possible through that situation. So I feel there's so much grace that even when you're getting beaten, I mean, supposedly, this is for your good, right? And there is sunshine, just beyond here. So this knowing is such a big blessing to keep adjusting, okay, you're feeling da 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 da, but what is this doing to me, right? And what it's doing to you is like, how Rumi says that, my love, if you get irritated by each rub, how will you get polished, right? Like, with so much compassion, he says this, right? Because it's hard not to cry out in, or shout, why is this happening? I didn't need for this to happen, at this stage of my life. And yet so much grace to be, again, starting anew, to have that, just to be able to see is just so much grace.
Yeah, I think if a part of me is able to see that growth which is happening through the beating, then the complaining also stops. This poor me. If we are able to see that mellowing down of the ego, the softening and gentling down of the nature, if we are able to see that inner strength developing at the same time, then all the worries. It's like, marte raho, something like that. And Kabir ji has many good dohas here on this, that he says somewhere, uh, that purja purja ho jata hai jab surma ka, when the warrior is just beaten to death, even then he does not leave the battlefield because he knows this is happening for good. Yeah.
But ego doesn't obviously give away, it does want to make a hue and cry about it.
Yeah.
But even if you can see it, it has less weightage. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
still kind of saying, yeah, and then it's like,
True.
it's a tantrum.
Mm.
It's not suffering. It's, there's a lightness about it because the child is all right, but he's just making.
Yeah.
So I have something which kind of would align with what Badalji said. We had read something before, but I reread it because it's good to see things again and again. But there's new here as well. So yeah, anybody who would want to unmute and read it. So this is, I think we have read it like months back. What attitude should one take to get out of the ego? This will bring us to the next one that I wanted to share. So if anybody is wanting to unmute, otherwise I'll read it. Okay, I'll read it. So here it says that what attitude should one take to get out of the ego? Attitude, mother says, it is rather a will, isn't it? You must will it. What should one do? Are you asking that? The surest means is to give oneself to the divine, not to try to draw the divine to oneself, but try to give oneself to the divine. Then you are compelled at least to come out a little from yourself to begin with. Usually, when people think of the divine, the first thing they do is to pull as much they can into themselves, and then generally they receive nothing at all. They tell you, I called, I prayed, I did not have the answer. I had no answer, nothing came. But then if you ask, did you offer yourself? No, I pulled. Yes. That is why it did not come. It is not that it did not come. It is that when you pull, you remain so shut up in your ego, as I told you just now, that it raises a wall between what is to be received and yourself. You put yourself in prison, and then you are astonished that in your prison you feel nothing. So I think it's very strongly coincided with what we were just sharing, that if I remain the same, like on a vacation, on a travel, in a new place, then the wall that I build around myself is there, right? And if it's getting, the hammer is kind of getting beaten, and I mean, whatever, if I hammer the wall, I just get lost in, oh, it's paining, it will break, rather than what is it about to teach me. And so prison, and still more, with no windows on the street. Throw yourself out. Mother opens her hands. Give yourself without holding back anything. Simply for the joy of giving yourself, then there is a chance that you may feel something. But if one tries to feel, the person says, so if one tries to feel, is it still not an egoism, this trying to feel? If one wants to get out of the ego while still remaining egoistic, it is very difficult, isn't it? The two are pretty contradictory. Try to feel. Why? For your own satisfaction. If one tries to feel that one does not exist, that it is the divine who exists, is that a way of getting out of ego? Mother says, one does not exist, This, I don't know if one can succeed in anything by trying mentally, because this is a kind of mental effort. So one makes mental constructions and does not achieve anything very much. No, what is necessary is something spontaneous, intense, a flame burning in the being, a flame of aspiration, something, I don't know how to put it. If the thing goes on in the head, nothing happens. The effort one can make can be only mental. What can one do to make? I think this is the next one now. Any reflections on what we have read so far? So the thing was, what attitude should one take to get out of the ego? So that was the first one.
I think Jasmine may be unmuted. I don't know if she wants to. Yeah. Jasmine, you want to share?
Should I go on?
So this part, this part, yeah, this giving out, offering oneself to the divine. This also can be very much related with offering oneself to life, as we were talking about travel or anything that I don't offer myself. I have a prison around myself and I just keep on traveling in that prison. And as you were sharing that if there is a chote on the prison, then I complain rather than seeing what it is doing. Actually, it's releasing me. But since I'm not used to that release, then I cry and I complain. But when I am actually beaten apart, it feels nice. For those of us who have felt it, it feels nice.
While traveling, I just remember there is a temple at Kerala, Sabrimalai. So once we decided that we must go there, this was about 10 years back. So I wanted to see what all happens in Sabrimalai. There, you have to go with the lungi and one towel sort of thing in the bag. One you are wearing and one is in the bag. There is when you take bath or something and all this, then you can wear that. And there was an irumudi on the head with one bed sheet folded, and that irumudi is the bag actually. In that bag, the family members and the friends and relatives, those who came to the temple, I am carrying all those little bit of rice and some coins, and there are four coconuts filled with ghee actually, and that was available in the temple. So then that priest gives some mantra and all this, and then you start from that temple. You have to start the journey from the temple. So when we went there, so we traveled by train and then certain distance by the transport. So this is the first time in life I experienced that. We don't need much actually. Only that irumudi was there, keeping on the head, and we were not worried about the suitcases which are to be locked. Otherwise, the thief will come and take and all. There was no such worry at all. It was totally free, and the barefoot. There was not even chapel. Somebody will take good shoes. No? If you are in the upper berth and you're keeping the shoes down, somebody will keep the shoes and put under the head while sleeping and all this. So all these problems went off. There are a lot of possessions we can get rid of. Then when we went there, when reached the temple, the night overnight we stayed. So there was only plank, one wooden plank is been provided to you, and that same the towel in that bag. So that becomes the pillow. There is no pillow or nothing of that. So no bed, no mattress, nothing of that nature. And we slept. There was no problem of sleeping and all that. Then in the morning we had to get up at some 3 o'clock and we had to take bath, and then you have to be in the queue for that morning arati or something. not Arti, there is a god is given birth by ghee and all this. So there is one bucket of water and one maga was available by the authority there. So you go to the bathroom and there is no heater, nothing of that. So cold water is there, one bucket. So you take bath and finish that morning job, and then you are standing in the queue for the darshan and all this celebrations in the morning. So what I'm saying is that requirement becomes very small actually. So because we are not having any experience, life experience or such nature, then we can understand that a human being, the people are there even in the Himalayas and all this. They have got no sanitary toilet or bathroom or so all those facilities, air conditioning and things like that. But they're surviving. And during that Mela and all, we see that there are hundreds and hundreds of them. They're living in that condition. So, but we, by the comfort zone, we made ourselves like in the prison. So, as it has been said by Mother, so we have created the prison for ourselves, and now that we are happy in the prison itself. We don't want to come out of it. But I've seen that once you leave that, all this, like the journey which I'm talking about, and I enjoy, and that is, embedded in my mind, which is not going on. That joy, what we had, that we don't have anything with us, that which can be borrowed by somebody, or I was missing it actually. We never. It may be for total 2 days, but we really enjoyed that life day. This is also an experience actually which we cannot forget. That sort of joy we never experience. So as a result, we do not know. We must have read somewhere, we must have seen somewhere and all, but I have not done that experience with myself. So then only we can move forward. Otherwise, it will be in the mind or knowledge. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Beautiful. I think I was thinking that that sort of joy doesn't come when I usually go to the bathroom for taking a usual bath. And I think why not? Why not? Because imagine that, and again, we need shocks from time to time. Only then I appreciate. So if I have been in a hospital for 2 days or 3 days or maybe more time, then when I come back home and relax with the same bed, the same bathroom, then I feel like, oh my God, I'm blessed with so much. But I needed to go first to the hospital, and I realized that the same thing, it's as if this tamas or inertia, this like blackens us, and we are not able to see how grateful we can be for little things that we are granted with. Really amazing. The blindness is really amazing.
That Kabir ji's doha that, sukh mein, dukh mein sumiran sab kare, dukh sukh mein kare, dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi, jo sukh mein sumiran kare, to dukh kahe ko hoye. It sounds like a very simple thing, right? Or bachpan se suna hai, this is one of the most popular ones, right? And yet, when what you shared, with experiences like this, one again and again realizes that how we forget, how the absence of pain makes us forget and start taking things for granted, right? And then we just start getting diverted, like things that I don't know. It's like, yeah, the pain, like, the pain is a hammer of God that's there to, what is it? Break the
Yeah,
dead resistance. Yeah.
of mortal's heart. I think this whole canto, problem of pain in Savitri, it's so beautiful, so rich, telling about why the pain is necessary as uh, at the present stage in human evolution. We can't do without it at the moment. And there would be, a new race coming where it would not be necessary to be beaten up. But right now, the way we are, beating is necessary, otherwise we won't work.
Yeah. There's something in me that just would rather complain than be grateful. And that needs to be beaten up again and again. So I will share the next one. If there's no comment, if there is, please unmute and share anytime. This one right now we just covered. This too, again, I think it's very, I mean, it takes a lot of effort and one doesn't realize that one is holding oneself back. No? Throw yourself out. Give yourself without holding back. That a story that we had once read, right? Like the final two people who couldn't see anything. So this is the main one that I had wanted to share about this mental thing, that how even my offering or my aspiration can be, I don't know, just be at the level of the mental, especially, you know, if you are a very whatever mental person. So here she, one can succeed in anything by trying mentally. What happened? Sorry. If one can succeed in anything by trying mentally, because this is a kind of mental effort. You know, mental tak hi restrict reh jata hai. So one makes mental constructions and does not achieve anything very much. No, what is necessary is something spontaneous, intense, a flame burning in the being, a flame of aspiration. If the thing goes on in the head, nothing happens. The effort one can make can be only mental. What can one do to make it spontaneous? So he repeats, mother says, eh? And the person repeats and mother says, no, I heard you quite well. But why do you assert that all effort one makes can be only mental? So the question is, but what can be done to make it spontaneous? So this is the thing. I believe there is a vast difference between an effort for transformations, which precisely comes from the psychic center of the being, and a kind of mental constructions to obtain something. I don't know, it is very difficult to make oneself understood. But so long as the thing goes on in the head in this way, mother turns a finger near her forehead. You know, if it's here, it has no power. It has a very little force that is extremely limited. And all the time it belies itself. One thinks that with great difficulty, one collects a will, artificial enough, besides, and one tries to catch something. And the very next minute, it has all vanished. And one doesn't even realize it. One asks oneself, how does it happen to turn out like that? I don't know. Indeed, it seems to me very difficult to do yoga with the head. Unless one is gripped, the will is not in the head. The will, what I call the will, is something that's here. Mother points to the center of the chest, which has a power of action, a power of realization. So I would want to stop here for right now.
ये कबीर का वो वाला याद आ रहा है मेरे को कपलेट वेर ही सेज लिख लिख के पत्थर भयो पड़ी पड़ी भयो है ईंट कहे कबीर तुम्हें प्रेम की लागी ना एक ही चीट and prem, when we refer to that center of the chest, opening of the heart.
Yeah.
As Kabir says that so many locks are there on your heart, how would they get open? So absolutely, I think beautiful, especially the last few lines, the center of the chest. Yeah. I think that's also corresponds in, for me, it also corresponds to a power of intuition, living your life intuitively. Because when we live life intuitively, then we can't give reasons for why we are doing this thing or that thing. Many a times you don't have anything, it could be just antagonistic to what you may have reasoned. But so there is a very deep knowing. You have no explanation at times for it. And there is a joy in following that knowing also. And certainty, like a certitude in following that knowing. A dumbness also, one can say, for people who would come from the reason side, it can also be called as a dumbness. Nothing is very clear, but a clarity of knowing is there, that I know this is the way, something like that. And it really makes, I feel that it really has the power to make life very joyous and adventurous when we follow this intuitive sense within us. Very joyous. And also, we see that we are giving ourselves, as came in the previous paragraph, that this is what is giving yourself to life. That you are not calculating, you're not waiting for some calculated result, and yet you are following the unfolding of life that's bringing you joy, and you're throwing yourself wide open. So many things here at once for me, kind of come up together. And then one is not waiting for next few days to live, because one is living so much in the present moment itself, that kal kya hoga, of course we don't know. So too much into future, too much expends into future, that aaj to happiness nahi hai, but I will wait for something to unfold in the future. Aaj to adventure nahi hai, but maybe the future is adventurous. So that waiting now, that disappears, that has the possibility of disappearing. And what mother said in the previous paragraph also connects a lot, that when she said that yeah, one simply gives for the joy of giving. I think that was also very relatable, because yeah, this one. But if one tries to feel ke upar jo hai na, one simply, so you, why am I throwing out myself to life or the unfolding of life? Just because it's joy. There is no other reason that I will achieve this after these many months, not there. It's just that it is joy when I fully give myself either to people, work, or life situations. And when we keep on holding back ourselves, ki acha mera kya hoga, too much self obsession, then we suffer. So self obsession is suffering, while when we openly give ourselves, knowing that the mother is there, our intentions are pure, and we are ready to progress, then it's really joy. We don't have to delay that joy, we don't have to procrastinate that joy. When I will get this and that, and that workplace, or that job, or that relationship, then I will be in joy. That waiting disappears there, I feel. And joy is as as is said in scriptures, delight is the basis of existence. Satchidananda, so delight. And if we have that delight of joy of giving, then each day is very full. We have the potential that each day can be full. There is another couplet I am remembering on this mental thing here, where Kabir says, लिखा लिखी की है नहीं देखी दाखी बात, दूल्हा दुल्हन मिल गए फीकी पड़ी बारात. So I feel it is the union of uh, union within of mind and heart. When heart is the boss and mind is the servant, usually mind is the boss, and that's why so much of chaos. So he says, Dulha Dulhan mil gaye. Feminine, masculine can be said, Purush Prakriti, or I feel it's also in simple terms, it's like union of heart and mind. It's like heart is the boss now. And not the emotive heart, obviously, not the vital heart, but the true psychic, deep heart. And then he says in the last line, Fiki Padi Barat means then all the reason and logical analysis, they don't have any grip over you because you're working from this knowing. Mhm. That's it.
And I think this knowing is also, again, coming from the mental realm, a stepwise procedure. Like, I don't know what I know, but I know this is not it, right? Like, I don't know what I want, but I know I don't want this. So knowing what I don't want or is also a step in the knowing that, okay, that means I'm getting to what, knowing what I would want. Like, at least you are emptying the cup. Because, this thing, I felt it so, where it said, one thinks that difficulty, one collects a will, as in, when I'm offering myself also, there's this thing that I said, chalo, kar hi dete hain. Like, there is the certitude is not there. That is also a mental thing, that didn't work. Now maybe this would work, matlab, because वही जो आदत पड़ी हुई है, one doesn't even realize, but when one sees it very carefully, this artificiality, this, so फिर ऐसा लगता है कि अरे मैंने तो will करी थी, right? But the center of operation, if it was again, a business transaction, yeah, I'm offering myself to you and you give me $1 million, kind of same होना चाहिए, मेरी words भी तो मिले. So it's just amazing how that, that mentality of ours, it's hard to transcend, again, your own prison, कि वहां पे भी गए हैं तो यही करने हैं, right? Let's say अब, I don't know, like people go to the shrines and offer, gold ki sheets and stuff, and there's a lot of pride in that. Matlab, I don't know, and that was not very, but yeah, just that what is important to me. Like, instead of offering myself, I would say, I'm offering this sheet of gold. What else do I do? Do you know how much it costs? Like, that shows my level of sincerity and will and effort, but what will that gold sheet do? So we'll just read the last thing. Again, please, anybody, if there's any comments before that, or we should end soon. Okay. So I just repeat this. The will, what I call the will, is something that's here. Mother points to the center of the chest, which has a power of action, a power of realization. What one does exclusively in the head is subject to countless fluctuations. It is not possible to construct a theory, for instance, without there intervening immediately things which give all the opposite arguments. And so there's the great skill of the mind, it can prove no matter what, argue about anything at all. Consequently, one does not go a step further. Even if momentarily one catches an idea that has a certain force, unless one can keep that state of intensity, as soon as there is a relaxation, all the contrary things come along, and all, as with the charm of their expression. So it is a ceaseless battle. It has no solution. So we'll, I think, not go further maybe next time, but let's just reflect on this. And
Yeah, this is nice. The last two lines where she shares with the charm of their expression, all the glitter and look at me, look at me. Yeah, wonderful.
There was this thing in the Upanishads also my father had once shared me. It was like how the Maya acts. Mujhe exactly, I don't remember what he said, but say you have 10 kind of mangoes and you're about to say that I'm done with mangoes. I know how mangoes taste and I've lived it. So as soon as you turn your back, it just grips you again, like that visual that kahan ja raha hai, where are you going, have you tried the 11th kind, I have another one, come, you will like that. That will give you satisfaction, that will give you respect, that will give you, complete the lack from which you are operating. And it keeps promising, right? And we don't realize that. So again, this charm of their expression, because there always is, I don't know what is stuck in us.
आई थिंक वही बात आ जाती है ना, डिसएंचेंटमेंट की बात आ जाती है यहाँ पे भी. आई फील दैट एज आई थिंक दैट ओ मेरा हो गया, आई एम नाउ डिसएंचेंटेड, बट आई डोंट नो, बट आई एम एक्चुअली स्टिल एंचेंटेड दैट द वर्ल्ड विल गिव मी समथिंग. वो अभी जाता नहीं है, वो जस्ट अंडर करंट इट स्टेज, एंड दैट इज माई मोटिव बिहाइंड ऑल द एक्शंस. एंड
Yeah. Very deep seated and itna pakad mein bhi nahi aata, like slowly you keep getting glimpses.
मुझे लगता है रिमाइंड कराने की भी ज़रूरत है अपने आप को, that haven't I seen this enough, don't I know I won't get anything from here or there. And जैसे Sri Aurobindo talks of Jivan Mukta, he talks of that, and he says that renunciation and nirvana is the first step of integral yoga. So this disenchantment is the first step. That if I've truly understood and known in myself factually that nothing this world can give me which I can have permanently, then is the time when I can offer myself fully to the world. Now is the time for integral yoga. तो वो बार बार मुझे लगता है हमको याद कराना पड़ता है, क्योंकि हमारे इतने सारे अटैच्ड पॉइंट्स होते हैं ना फ्रॉम प्रीवियस लाइव्स एंड ऑल दैट. सो इट्स गुड टू रिमाइंड माई सेल्फ दैट really I'm again having hopes from this place. Why? And then if I kind of do some intellectual talk with myself, then I can again become grounded in disenchantment, and then is the possibility what mother was sharing in the previous paragraph, to give yourself for the joy of giving without expecting anything in return. Yeah, neither $1 million, not appreciation, no nothing, but it's just because I have joy in giving, that's why.
Well,
Sham, are you saying anything? Somehow I can't hear
yeah,
anything. I just heard a
yeah.
voice.
Am I audible now? Am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes.
Yes, something very similar to what she was telling. It once happened that I was watching a video of Acharya Prashant, in which he said that if you get attached too much to anyone, or if you are having any worries in your head, then you start questioning that attachment thing for an hour. Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
हाँ, तो उसमें आचार्य प्रशांत कहते हैं if you are attached to anything, like any object, any person, or any body, then you start questioning that attachment thing. And if you start arguing with that attachment thing for an hour or so inside yourself, then that you will be able to realize the futility of that. Same thing he argues that also कि अगर कभी किसी पे गुस्सा आ जाए, then you start questioning that anger thing and you try to argue with that anger. Okay. Then if you start arguing with that anger thing for say about an hour or so, you won't be able to argue for an hour. In less than 10 minutes time, it will vanish. So that's what he was saying in that. And I did try with myself that I got angry with a person today and I started questioning that anger, that where will it lead me to? Why am I angry? How am I affecting the person in front of me? And it started waning and vanishing. And it finally reached to a point zero. I mean to say that I was not able to argue, say, more than 10, 12, or 15 minutes, something like that. So that's the crux. Means if you start questioning the attachment also, means how much did it hurt me, how much did it hurt the person, and then you will be able to see the futility in it. So this was what I was speaking.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes.
Um, I think this questioning thing again is really important. It keeps us, from seeing more than we usually see when we just follow the preferences, what we started with. So I think we'll end the session now. Thank you so much for joining in. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tarun. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Shardaji.